How did the name Bakabuki come up and where did the idea come up?
Bakabuki started as a side hustle, I would say.
Young lads, 20, 21, 22-year-old, Garam Khoon.
What does it mean, Bakabu?
It's a unique name.
What is that design philosophy or the design benchmark?
We work backward also.
A Indianized version of culture where we try and ensure that it's intact in the culture we are trying to create through Bakabuki.
You have raised funding from Ananta Capital.
Now we have close to 45,000 square feet warehouse in Delhi and 19 others across India.
Welcome to another session of Voice of Champions with GNC. Today we are meeting two founders who hail from Sikar, Rajasthan and have built a 100 crore annual revenue run rate business. They have recently also raised a mix of primary and secondary funding from Ananta Capital, thus earning a validation not just on their business which has happened till now, but also their business growth story that is about to unfold. Anuj and Natwar are extremely driven founders who have risen through multiple challenges and have been at this game for almost 13 years. 13 years of grit, hard work, and passion that we are trying to uncover in this small session of 1 hour. Let's go. So, welcome Anuj and Natwar. Thank you for taking time. I know it's a busy day. All of you have taken some time to come and speak to us about your story. I hope the going has been good. We just finished the Prime Day sale. How was it all?
Yeah, Prime Day went really great for us. I mean, we can easily call it the best ever. Yeah, we did good numbers.
And we are gunning up for the festive season, so it'll all be. I think I also remember in your Shark Tank pitch, you were saying Q3 and Q4 is 65% of the sale,
Right.
and Q1 and Q2 is 35% of the sale. So, and that requires tremendous amount of supply chain readiness and all. All
Correct.
set for the festive season.
Yes, we are currently at the build-up phase of the inventory. And however, we have tried and tweaked that metrics a little bit this year for Q2 because
Okay.
there's still couple of months left for
Yeah.
Q2. So we are trying to do a better business in Q2 also. But yes, having said that, building up for Q3, Q4.
Let's start from the very beginning. How did the name Bakabuki come up and where did the idea come up?
So it's a long story. So I'll summarize it in a quick 2-3 minutes. So basically, Bakabuki started as a side hustle, I would say.
Yeah.
So basically, I was looking for a shoe for myself back in 2012, might be 2012, 13. So I was into a job. तो CA complete ही करी थी and I was looking for a shoe for myself. तो मतलब at that time e-commerce was at a very nascent stage. तो जो मतलब and there were not many brands online selling online. उस समय में eBay, Traders, मतलब वो था Snapdeal just started dealing coupons. तो एक ये मालूम था कि that there will be a wave of e-commerce coming in India. So what is like West, what is in West, it follows here. तो that was sure कि e-commerce develop होने वाला है and there are categories that are going to develop. But हाँ ये नहीं था मतलब we just wanted कि एक category से let's start with that. So we chose shoes as a category कि नहीं सारी categories ही grow करेंगे and it will explode. Yes, why shoes? So basically ये था कि when जब मेरे को shoes चाहिए था when I went to the market, I saw that then online and offline prices are very very different. Like दोनों में काफी difference था. So I thought there is an arbitrage opportunity between two. तो वही I start as in like small to earn a pocket money. So it was just an objective behind was just to fulfill and pocket money needs. So that grew into a full-fledged business later on.
Yeah,
But the name
Bakabuki.
Yeah, basically, as far as I remember, so the idea was to have a weird, fancy kind of a name that comes in a pairing also, and also stuck in the subconscious mind of anyone who reads or sees it somewhere. Because we were a digital first brand. Till today, we are digital first. So it's very important for someone to remember the name because we are nowhere otherwise offline. And also because you are asking this question means that it's actually weird and funny, right? Yeah. So which means you'll never forget now.
Never.
So that was the overall idea. Young lads, 21, 22-year-old, Garam Khoon. So crazy ideas us samay ke. But yes, if you ask me today, we might come up. If we had to start a sneaker brand today, we might probably come up with a probably a better or a different kind of a name. Yeah.
What does it mean, Bakabu?
So it doesn't mean anything. Like even in Shark Tank we told like कि जैसे जैसे Zomato का कोई meaning नहीं है, Swiggy का कोई meaning नहीं है, वैसे
It doesn't mean anything.
I'd say it's just a name, and it's a unique name to rank in, like back then like SEO was very important, right? Google में unique names चलते थे. We did not want a common name, जैसे कि मतलब for an example a shoe name with a very common thing, right? Because उसमें ना search dilute हो जाता है. So if you get a unique name, then I think that definitely helps in SEO and like ranking you good.
Just like how flip-flops. Have you ever thought why flip-flops? We already had a word sleepers. But flip-flops, we have a separate fancy term for sleepers. Similarly for our brand, we thought of having a fancy word.
And when you started off, like you saw an arbitrage opportunity, you started off probably as a trading company.
Yeah, as a trading
company. But slowly you kind of metamorphosize the company into more of a culture driven or culture setting, trend setting company. During this phase, initially what were your North Stars in terms of design? How did your design thinking then evolve?
When you start with a very scratch, like very small thing, you evolve, right? जैसे you start learning, you improve yourself, you correct it. We started with a trading company, to be honest. तो पहले तो यही था कि that what we see in the market, we sell it, right? मतलब वहाँ से खरीदा and then sell it. Gradually we evolved. We like धीरे-धीरे we knew that how the production process works, what are the different materials used in the shoes, what are the different compounds for which outsoles are made, insole कैसा होता है, midsole क्या होता है, outsole uppers कैसे variety के बनते हैं, what are like fabrics involved in it. Then gradually we started our own design process. तो अभी जो है like right now we have a full-fledged design team who designs exclusively for Bakabuki.
What were, if I can ask you, are there any design benchmarks that you have in mind? Okay, these are the gold standards of design that we want to. I mean, I can just say if it comes to, typically for me, if it comes to design, Apple really kind of stands apart. There is a lot of minimalism, or even if you take the Nordic design or the Japanese minimalism. Those are some of the things that typically come into my mind whenever I ask my team about design and all. Are there some things like that? Because sneakers are a class apart. It's not just minimalism. It's about showing your personality. So how does that whole thing work? What is that design philosophy or the design benchmark or something like that exists? Or
see, it does exist, but then having said that, because we are someone who are very fast with our launches and we try and be inclusive, so that's one big motto of Bakabuki, that we believe in inclusivity. So what you like is not necessarily that I'll also like, right? And when you talk about inclusivity, it's very important to see what exactly your TG looks when they look for a sneaker, what they want in their sneakers. So we try and include all of them. If you'll see, we have a very differentiated styles. When you see our collection, none of these styles are very much complementing to the other ones. So we try and ensure that we are trying to cater as many TGs as possible, and in that particular white space that we want to operate at. So that is how we think when we design our sneakers.
No, also many times we work backward also. Like we take a feedback from customers and then we improve and then evolve another product, right? तो ऐसा भी होता है कि कितनी बार मतलब ना we launch a product, we get a feedback and then we improve it, we make a second launch with what audience are liking it. तो एक बार अगर audience को पसंद आता है, then we see like this is the taste of our customers and then we launch product around it. So I think most of the businesses do accordingly only. That is what we do.
And what I also remember from your Shark Tank pitches, 2020, 2021 was when you took the pivot towards sneakers. Right. So for almost 9 years, 2012 to 2021, you were doing formal shoes. Is
more
that
black
right?
Brown than formal shoes.
All black brown.
Yeah. So until 2017, Bakabuki was largely boots oriented brand. So we describe it as in innings 1 and innings 2. What you just said, prior to COVID, it was innings 1. And now we are in innings 2 of Bakabuki, because until 2019, until COVID, Bakabuki was only a marketplace-led brand. So there were no D2C altogether. 2020 and then post-COVID and then Shark Tank is when we started seeing a skyrocket and jump in our overall D2C as segment as well. So that's innings too, and that is when sneaker and sports entire athleisure range took over completely. Prior to that, we were largely doing boots and formals. That's as you said.
And also casual shoes.
Casual shoes. We used to do casual shoes, but yes, a larger part of our catalog was black and browns.
So ऐसा था ना कि like before COVID, the search term as a sneaker, if you see like before COVID, it was like very less in India overall.
Right.
It was famous in West, but जो sneaker culture है और वो जो है that started from 2018 2019 onwards, right? तो वो term भी धीरे धीरे increase होने लगा. So when you see the search term report of a sneaker for men or a sneaker for women back in 2017-18, and when you see now, I think it have grown, I think more than 50x fold times. तो वो चीज जो जैसे जैसे कैटेगरी ग्रो हो रही थी, we pivoted and we went into that category.
And surprisingly for us, fortunately, we sort of analyzed and predicted this shift very earlier to our peer brands in the market, because I could never imagine Bata having a sneaker studio inside their stores. If I take you back to 2016, 2017, all you get to see inside a Bata stores was all black and brown moccasins and formal shoes. But they today also are forced to have a sneaker studio, a sneaker wall inside there, So which is a shift that has come in last 3-4 years. Luckily for us at Bakabuki, we observed this around 2019, and which sort of allowed us to penetrate better and have a better catalog versus other peer brands.
Yeah, I think till 2014, sports shoes or sneakers meant ki those canvas shoes.
Canvas shoes.
Yeah, which will come very thin sole.
Yeah.
And then every 6 months you'll have to replace. And it's run of the mill. I used to remember even for canvas shoes, we used to wash every week. And there would be a white polish that would come.
Yeah.
You would apply that liquid polish.
So that was a normal canvas shoes.
वो कुछ और ही बन जाते थे.
It becomes like flaky.
So we used to call it PT shoes.
PT shoes.
Right.
PT shoes.
PT shoes.
So we used to wear like when we were in school, we used to wear it like every week. It was a PT class.
And the entire class.
But it was very good shoe. Like it was very good. Like it was very good, and it was the main thing was the sole was made of rubber. So अब जाके पता चलता है कि नहीं वो जूते बहुत अच्छे थे. Like because like the upper of it was of cloth and the sole of it was of rubber. तो वो इतने अच्छे shoes थे when you can use it for running. And it was like और charge क्या होते? Like I think it was 200-300 rupees, right? So it was a very good shoe, I would say.
So are you saying nowadays, what is the sole made of? Is it not made of rubber nowadays?
So basically, I think back then TPR evolved नहीं हुआ था. TPR is in man-made rubber, I would say. It's in thermoplastic rubber. So पहले I do not know much about back then what 2005, 2004 में होता था. But I think now rubber soles are only used in a handful of products. Mostly now in India, I think most of the soles, outsoles used by most of the brands are mostly TPR.
So largely a lot of brands have started using TPU soles, but the midsole are still EVA, which allows the shoes to be very lightweighted. So the midsoles are EVA, the outsoles are TPU. Earlier back then, TPR, sorry. And
what is EVA?
Basically, the sole that I'm talking about is usually called phylone sole. A phylone sole is mix of EVA and TPU. Earlier back then, largely a good brands, or for that matter, the PT shoe that we were discussing, people only used to use rubber outsoles. Yeah. So rubber outsoles are more slightly expensive, more durable. So we have found not we as an industry has found a better alternative, or maybe you can say a cheaper quality of rubber, which is man-made in the form of TPR. Sorry, I'm again and again using TPU for TPR. And that is what most of the brands have started using.
Interesting.
Yeah, so including the international, the so-called collectibles brand also.
That brings back an interesting point, right? When you're talking of these international brands, there's always, you also speak about there's a level of sophistication that these international brands always had with respect to the pre-existing brands that we had. And also there are some aspirations, there is culture setting, and these are all brands with heavy balance sheets,
Right.
heavy P&Ls.
Right.
You come from that era, or you actually come from the background which understands the might of the volumes and all. Then why this particular space of sneakers, and why this aspiration of trying to set a culture? Because that is also the motto with which you came out, right? That you want to set the culture for tomorrow.
Right.
Isn't that a big dream or big ambition for two people starting off from India?
No, obviously, I mean, see, when we talk about Bakabuki, we say that we are creating culture for generations to come. And this is how, the brands that we are discussing here, probably Nike and Jordans, is what we all aspire to wear or have at least few pairs of them in our wardrobe. They are legacies, and there's genuinely a lot to learn from them as well, because they have taught what community can actually give back. If you try and build a clan, or if you try and work around building a community, you can genuinely have a brand like Nike. So that is again how Bakabuki is also trying to understand the entire game of it, and we are also trying to evolve that. Yes, because entire sneaker culture in India is very new. We have to understand we are yet to have the best of the internet speed. Only 5 years back we have got our good internet speed, so we are running behind. So everything, not just the culture but everything else in the ancillary part also, is slightly delayed. So but having said that, India definitely deserves to have its own sneaker brand with its own culture game. But then having said that, not trying copying to what how it is happening in the West, a Indianized version of culture where we try and ensure that our rich heritage of India is also in, we have tried and possibly tried and ensure that it's intact in the culture we are trying to create through Bakabuki.
Fantastic, fantastic. One of the things, I mean, coming back, then you did that in 2021, and then you went on Shark Tank in 2023.
2023, yes.
Yeah, 2023. So this is the third season of Shark Tank, if I'm not wrong.
We were in 2024, which was third season.
2024, third season.
Oh,
Okay.
sorry. Yeah.
No, it got, I think, telecast in 2024 Jan or something, but it would have been shot in 2023 October or November.
Right. 23 is when we shot. 24 when it got telecast.
So how was the reception initially, and then how did you guys feel after the Shark Tank? We'll talk the Shark Tank process, but after the Shark Tank, did everything kind of make sense, and then say that okay, it was all worth it, whatever was the experience of going to the Shark Tank and all?
So overall, see, I'll tell you, Shark Tank. See, me and Natwa, there is one thing very common between us. Coming from a business background, coming from a finance background, we have always ensured that try and tap all the low-hanging marketing fruits. So we saw Shark Tank as a clear-cut, 15 crores worth of visibility hanging low. If just we go and apply, and if luckily get selected, you are on national television for 20 good minutes. Not in the form of advertisement, but as an episode telecasted across 120 different nations of this world. What else you can ask for a bootstrap company? So we applied. Fortunately, we got selected, and ever since, genuinely, the journey has been like a completely topsy-turvy kind of a situation for not just as a brand but also as a founders. You and me talking about it right now, probably also because of Shark Tank.
No, but I think it was the standout of the entire season. Your episode and your segment, at least for me, that was the most memorable of the third season, I felt. Did you also like? And it was I think nerve-wracking. Everyone had only criticism for Bakabuki. I'm asking the post journey, like looking back, did you feel like okay, whatever the journey was, it was worth it, or did it kind of like, was the response anticipated or was it beyond anticipation?
So it was, I think it was due to turnover thing. So due to the turnover, it got more highlighted. It's the last.
That's right.
That's true. Yeah, it got more highlighted, and we when it was like telecasted in the YouTube, जब YouTube में like it got published, then we kept reading comments, right? For like last for 2-3 good weeks we read comment कि क्या customer क्या कह रहे हैं, like लोग क्या कह रहे हैं, right? So basically we saw many customers commenting there, like this is the brand that we have like heard before, like this is the Shark Tank brand that जो पहले भी सुना है, इससे पहले ऐसे काफी, because like in Shark Tank, like we had a very long history, right? We started back in 2014, so it has already been good 10 years that we have already spent. And when we went to Shark Tank, I think we had more than 4 to 5 million customers with us, so who have already shopped Bakabuki, right? The customer knew us, but when they saw us in the Shark Tank, then they could relate the product and those things, right? Then we loved reading the comments, and it was like all positive. कि यार like ठीक है, इससे space से नहीं होता है, ये है, the product all like matters and these things. So that is what feedback we got.
Basically, if we had to, sort of just have a stress buster kind of a session, we used to go to our YouTube comment section and just spend 5-10 minutes there, because the comments were so amazing. They were so positive. And as Natwar mentioned that, all of these 3-4 million pairs that we had delivered, all of a sudden, jinke ghar mein wo shoes rakhe hue the, those got expensive. Okay, I already own this brand, and they started flaunting more amongst their, friends and families that, see the shoes that I'm wearing, this brand came on Shark Tank last night. All of a sudden, the shoe that they paid for maybe probably 1,500 or 2,000 became worth 2,500 for them. So yeah, that was the impact for the consumers also.
So during the Shark Tank episode, at least, what we would have been shown is maybe 15 minutes or 20 minutes, right? And during those 20 minutes, I felt it was intense. There was a lot of criticism on marketing,
branding,
on logo at least, and then on product, and also on pricing strategy. And different people said different things, right? But it would have been a lot longer, because I think it is short for what, 1 hour, 1.5 hours.
So basically, a typical Shark Tank pitch. So there are two part of an episode. One is pitch and another is Q&A session. So the pitch is tentatively, I think, of around 3 to 5 minutes, and the rest is all discussions around it.
So the pitch is also edited out. So I think
no, pitch is not edited. So it is what we say, right? So that is of like 3 minutes, I would say, and then the rest all are Q&A and discussion around the brand and discussion
their
around
commentary.
And that's the toughest part of Shark Tank, because you have never faced such cameras. Yeah, there are more than 50 cameras across, almost 270-degree angle, and the 5 sharks in front of you. You are on national television with 0 takes. I'm not an actor. Even Shah Rukh Khan is allowed to have 15 takes for the perfect dialogue delivery.
So
we are not allowed.
Remember,
and you both danced.
And I still remember an instance there. वहाँ actually मेरे shoes में जब आप स्टेज क्लीन करते हो तो कुछ वो टेप्स वगैरह रह जाती है. Then there was a tape in my shoe sole, so that got stuck, right? And I was standing there, तो कैमरामैन से पीछे से आके शू के नीचे टेप लगी हुई है वो निकालो.
और वो इतनी छोटी थी कि हमें भी ढूंढना पड़ा था हमारे शू में.
Tape, and they can view it, right? They can see it. The camera can see it कि वो टेप लगी हुई है पीछे, उसको निकालो.
So they stopped you from delivering your pitch to remove.
No. That was
before we started. So before check. So before we it is take.
That was during hygiene check. The hygiene check.
Acha.
So I mean that made us more, I guess, conscious, because if they are, we are under complete scrutiny right now because there are 50 cameras and completely zoomed in inside us right now, and that too on national television. So that was actually something, the most toughest part of Shark Tank, because we were told that you have to step inside and there's that music that plays, and the moment that music stops, you have to start your pitch. You will get 0 take. If you fumble, you will fumble on national television.
No, that is a adventure. I mean,
that was an adventure for us.
Yeah. Man, it is very, very tough. You guys came out with flying colors till that section at least.
I would say no. Even post the entire episode.
Yeah, but the thing is that वो आप ही को पता है ना, very mixed. Right, so we prepared like a pitch for good 3-4 minutes, right? बीच में 1-2 लाइन में भी भूल गया. But the good part is that जो आप बोल रहे हो, मतलब अब सामने वालों को नहीं मालूम ना आपने क्या प्रिपेयर होके आप गए थे, right? So whatever, it looks good only. So I would say कि ultimately if you are confident and if you are like good at this stage, I think that is good. Like ऐसा कुछ नहीं feel होता.
एक दो स्टेप्स तो आप भूल गए. स्टेप्स, डांस वाले स्टेप्स
भूला था?
नहीं भूला है क्या?
नहीं, ऐसा किसी ने नहीं बोला. भूला क्या, उसमें लगा होगा ऐसा.
ठीक, गुड. But coming to that, like Dipinder has pointed out the space issue,
the
right?
glaring effect.
Yeah, where he was saying ki between the logo mark and the word mark, there is one space, and between the two words, Bacca and Buki, there is another space. He said that these two spaces should be uniform, and they are not uniform. Were you prepared for that such commentary at that juncture?
See, obviously we were prepared that anything can come to us. Nothing to criticize. I think to an extent he was actually right also, because we also knew that back when we started, again as Natwa mentioned, e-commerce was not a thing in India. We started with a very basic infrastructure, with a basic logo. We knew this, and we carried the same logo as a heritage till 2024 on the Shark Tank stage. So obviously there had to be some glaring effect. So we didn't, that's why we didn't, defend ourselves there much. We said, see, what you are saying is right, but at this stage right now where we are, if you guys support us, we can easily hire an agency which can help us get these things corrected. It takes not more than 5, 7, 8 lakhs. That shouldn't be a blocker for you to invest into us. So we took it positively, and currently genuinely we are in that process right now
of correcting it.
We have corrected to a lot more better extent, but yes, still we are doing more
fantastic
small tweaks.
And then the second thing is, I think Anupam said that the product, I think he picked up the most I think the Aman. And then I think आपने कहा है कि इस पे 32 components है, 27 components है. हाँ, so and that was again, I think they felt like, okay, iska finish, the stitch was not right or something like that.
No, for the product they didn't criticize. That was the best part.
They mentioned about the product, but the thing is, like, they mentioned because that the product that we took was all like the new range of us, right? तो क्या होता है ना कि कितनी बार जैसे कि आप जब शार्क टैंक के लिए प्रोडक्ट कैरी करते हो, यू नीड टू कैरी, वी आर फ्रॉम दिल्ली, राइट? तो दिल्ली से मुंबई आप कैरी करके ले गए, तो शू के बॉक्सेस, लाइक द बॉक्सेस आर वेरी बिग साइज, सो वी टुक इट इन अ सूटकेस. देन जब वहां जाके अनपैक किया, एंड देन थोड़ा से वो स्ट्रक्चर्ड वगैरह जो शू का शेप होता है वो थोड़ा सा वो दब जाते हैं. देन वी मेड इट ऑल टुगेदर गुड, बट थोड़ा सा वो एक शूज में था कि थोड़ा सा ऐसे tilted सा था, and then that he told like finishing is not that good, but it was all due to the transportation that happened.
No, but as far as I remember, he told he was holding one shoe which actually after the episode became one of our top seller, and we had to genuinely start taking pre-orders for that shoe. And he genuinely said that if you are charging 1,500 for this, I could have easily paid 2,500 also. You must have seen in the episode. So overall, they liked our product. They didn't criticize the product much. But yes, for the logo and branding thing, they were a little very negative about it. But otherwise, product, I think they liked.
And are the 3 ranges still there? You mentioned that there is a sports range. And then there was
so basically we have 3 main range in Bakabuki. The main is like sneakers, the second is athleisure, and third is boots. So adventure, we call it adventure. So basically they are the 3 main subcategories in which Bakabuki deal with. The first is sneakers, athleisure, and then adventure.
Are 3 of them still continuing?
Yeah.
What is the most successful one among the 3?
Sneakers.
I would say all are successful because we have to see the market size also. So as per the market size, we are doing good in all the 3 categories. But sneakers contribute more to our overall top line.
Sales, right.
And as a market, you think India is now opening up to, I think, owning 2 or 3 sneakers or 3 or 4 sneakers? Because I think as a ownership level, the number of pairs, number of footwear, there's a sea difference between what Western countries have and India has, right? And that's the opportunity for you.
So basically, when you see the data around it, in West, I think for every purpose you have a shoe. When you go for a hike, you have a shoe, you have a walking shoe, you have a running shoe, you have outdoor shoe, you have indoor shoe, everything. There are like categories where, but in case of in India, but the thing is that now the situation are changing. Back, I think back 10, 15 years back, I would say like most of people used to wear one shoe only. Like ऐसा ही होता था, काफी के घर पे 1 या 2 जूते होते थे. They used to wear one leather shoe, there used to be one sport shoe. एक sport shoes वो हैं जो when you walk and jog, and एक आपका leather shoe है when you wear to the office and you go to the office.
Formal and then sports.
And formal and the sports, right? But now the things are changing up. Now there are like you have a dress wise shoes, right? For this dress it is like this color of shoe, there's a color blocking shoe, there's chunky sneakers. Those all categories have evolved in. There are like adventure categories growing in. So like now what we have received queries like कि मतलब ना ट्रेकिंग के भी अलग अलग शूज आने लग गए, लाइक अप हिल के लिए अलग है, डाउन हिल के लिए, लाइक इफ यू आर मोर इनटू लाइक स्नीकर्स में एडवेंचर में जैसे आप अप हिल के लिए अलग शूज आ रहे हैं, डाउन हिल के लिए अलग आ रहे हैं, जैसे बाकी बूट्स कैटेगरी में भी बाइकिंग की कैटेगरी इवॉल्व हो रही है. सो देयर आर लॉट मेनी कैटेगरीज दैट आर इवॉल्विंग इन इंडिया नाउ.
So many niches that are coming up.
Coming out of one category only.
Yeah, and you actually said that in 2023, the time it was short, you say that you're still a bootstrapped company, but was it an accident, or was it like a product of the circumstances where you did ask for funding but you didn't get funding, or you had to go through rejections? What was the reason?
Well, I would say it was not a conscious choice. But the thing is, yes, we never approached for a funding thing. So basically we come from a very old school. As Anuj mentioned, we both are from finance background, right? So जब आप CA करते हो ना, तो what we used to study is like in a business, the profit thing is the must. Without profit, there is no business, right? Yeah. And then there is an again school of thought ki there is one thing more which is like more like you can consider growth, and you can like postpone your profit, and you can like consider taking profit later on, right? Yeah. But we had no options. हमारे केस में like we were very very small. We started with handful of lakh rupees, right? तो उस केस में क्या है कि we had no option. We can grow only out of profits. And when we started back in 2014 2015, there was only one option of an फंडिंग दैट वाज अवेलेबल, दैट वाज थ्रू बैंक्स, थ्रू लोन्स. और वो भी नए कंपनीज को जब तक आप 3 साल पुरानी नहीं होती लोन भी नहीं मिलता. तो वी आर ऑल डिपेंडेंट ऑन वर्किंग कैपिटल लोन जो कि मिलता था, राइट? तो उसके बाद में धीरे धीरे जैसे जैसे प्रॉफिट ऐड होता गया, दैट इज व्हाट वी थॉट ऑफ ग्रोइंग इन. And back after like when we started our website after COVID, the brand got more awareness, right? तो लोग जानने लगे. There was our website. It was not a marketplace brand now. The people started buying from our website, and then awareness started coming into all customers also. Then we started then the investors and the fund managers started approaching us. Then we gave a thought ki we can also explore this option and do a funding round and then grow in a more faster way.
Wasn't it tough to manage working capital? It is a notoriously hard category, right? I mean, too much inventory is a problem, SKUs are a problem. On top of that, the returns and replacement cycle, because people would want to check sizing, then they'll say that hey, this size doesn't fit. You will need to rework.
Footwear is one of the most difficult category in D2C, I would say, because there are color, there are sizes, there's so many designs, and in fast fashion you launch every design every month. So it is one of the most I think inventory led, most difficult inventory led model.
How did you manage work? Who was the person who was taking care of the finance between you two?
Largely it was always taken care by Natwar only. And obviously I mean we always, both of us were part of a decision. But then yes, so see, it was managed because to an extent we were able to build that trust with our vendors. So it's very important in India, it's very important to build that trust with factories, because there are very handful of them, and it's not easy. It takes time for you to be able to reach that stage when these factories, these large industries starts giving you credits. So that is what we achieved from 2014 to 2016-17. In 2-3 years, that people started allowing us to have products on credits. So that sort of allowed us to manage our working capital, and that is how we were able to sustain this long, staying bootstrap, staying profitable. And that is how it took us 12 years to finally raise money in 2025 now.
So our vendor always supported us. So basically, yes, footwear is an inventory led, and there are a lot of inventory that gets stuck while launching designs. So us case mein what happens is, when there isn't support from your vendors, they understand that these guys are rotating capital wisely, and and you are doing your repayments to your vendors on time. that creates a confidence among vendors, and then they trust you, right? So that helped us in managing our working capital.
I think fantastic. How does the two founder dynamics when both are CA kind of work? Do you kind of divide different functions between yourself, or is it like both of you kind of get into and then start problem solving?
For the longest part of the journey, that is how it has been. We have been doing everything, both of us.
Right.
So never sit and decided that this is what you will take care of, this is what you will take care of. Till today, we have never done that. So it has always been like, this is a baby, and we are parents, and we have both. जो available है जिस काम के लिए वो करो. That is how it has always been for the longest part of it. But yes, having said that, वो automatically a lot of functionalities got separated. Like as I said, Natwa used to take, till today it takes the entire take care of the entire finance. I take more of the content and marketing. So that is how it is. Design, we both try and because it allows us to have more confidence on design when both of us say yes. So design is something we both try and put our head into.
One of the toughest things I keep hearing from founders is around building a team, right? I mean, building that core team that can actually, one part is you can set up the engine, you can take it till, let's assume, a 10 crore revenue or a 15 crore revenue a year. But after that, you need a strong team, so that then, because there will be problems that come with growth, like inventory problems, working capital problems, managing investors problems. So in that sense, the team then becomes critical to kind of continue the perfection journey towards perfection. Did you face similar challenges, or were you lucky to find a great team? What was your experience like?
So up till 2019, we had no team. I would say, like, there are a handful of key employees. There was a core team, but most of the team were more driven towards operation thing.
Yeah.
So till 2019, ऐसा था कि there was an operation team, and then there was a founder who was doing everything.
Yeah.
तो ऐसा था. Then like after 2019, I would say कि when we launched our own website, till then ads were like managed by us only at an initially 2-3 good months. तब वो जैसे जैसे orders और increase होने लगे. When we started our website, we received we started with 10-15 orders a day, right? At 2020 May. Then order, like, क्योंकि the brand was already an old brand, we grew to 100 150 orders, 175 orders in a 2-3 months time span. ठीक है, तो उस हिसाब से you increase your ad budget also. Then we thought कि नहीं, अब तो हमें एक graphic designer और एक digital marketing manager चाहिए.
As I said, second innings,
Yeah.
So it's more like a first inning was a successful trading company who gave birth to a D2C, and if you ask me, otherwise Bakabuki is just 5-year-old. That is when we started thinking like a startup properly. Okay, we started thinking also on compromising on profits, which has never happened in our journey. Okay, ठीक है, थोड़ा hit लेते हैं, marketing करते हैं. Let's now focus on branding. Let's go to Shark Tank. Let's solve our packaging. Let's have a team. Let's have a separate office for a core team. A lot of things around it. So it is something that our established trading company between 2014 to 19 gave birth to a D2C brand. It's something like that.
No, fantastic. Talking about the team, right now, I think congratulations on the recent funding. We're talking about it. You have raised funding from Ananta Capital,
Yes.
and from what I know, it's both a mix of primary and secondary.
Yeah, that's right.
So I think that takes you to the select club of very few D2C founders who are lucky to get a secondary. How does it feel now? Like after maybe 13 years now?
Yes.
Yeah.
13 years, how does it feel after a successful validation? Because a mix of primary and secondary funding at some level, whether it is primary or secondary, at some level, getting an investor on table is also a great validation of the journey, of the model, and of also the prospects. What can be the growth in the future? That coming from someone, how does it feel?
So what I'll say is, like, for every brand, for every business, when you start, there is a stage which is like the right time when you raise funds. जैसे अनुज ने बताया, like we have like Bakabuki, you can precisely tell in a journey of 5 years. So prior that it was like entirely a trading business, I would say. So what we feel is like we have raised fund at an right time, at an right juncture, जिसमें कि हमें जरूरत थी, where we wanted our brand to get recognition among the national and international players already existing in footwear category in India. So that to take that leap, we need funds, right? To take that jump, we needed certain expenditure towards marketing, because throughout our journey we have never done, I would say, advertisement marketing spend. Back in 2020-21 तो हमारे advertisement spend used to be 1.5% of total sales. So when we अब वो जो like जैसे आपको brand grow करना है and you want it to, and we also want to go offline, right? So that could have always been possible only through funding. So वो चीज़, like I would say, like we took that decision in a right time and in a right year and at the right stage.
Just to add to it, so life has obviously changed a lot in many ways after taking funding, especially if you ask me, because we have always been that kid who knew that this is something we will make really big one fine day, but we really had no backers. So it is not just about getting primary and secondary. Now what we feel more fortunate about is that now we are with people. Even forget Bakabuki, even if there is something else that comes to my mind, I have people who will trust me because they have already trusted me for Bakabuki. So to be amongst the top brains of the country, to have an investors like Ashutosh sir and Lavkesh, these people, in itself, to share the same office with them in itself is a blessing in disguise. Forget the fund that you have received, obviously, I mean, will allow me to have probably the dream car that I wanted to drive. But yes, life has changed in a lot more ways otherwise also.
So you're talking of going offline with the funding, right? Is that the next evolution of Bakabuki 3.0? Will you be opening more offline stores, or what is the plan there?
Yes, you guessed that right. So that is how we are thinking now. The plan is to really go aggressive on offline stores. We are targeting to have them by the end of this year, and then just keep on multiplying to the sky is the limit, basically.
So one of the things, again, what I keep hearing, and I think you will also keep a track of the competition that is around, and it's also somewhere the industry, the sneakers industry or the market. There is Lotto that is coming back, right? There is Agilitas that is there, and then a bunch of startups, probably subscale, like much smaller than you, who are trying to do a bunch of things. When you look at it as an industry, how do you kind of uh, um, see the industry evolving? What is the next stage of the industry? And if someone wants to start a brand in sneakers, is it a good time? How do you kind of look at this stage right now?
So footwear always has been a cluttered category. When we started back in 2013-14, at that time also there is a lot of competition in footwear, and when we started, it started with zero, right? So right now also, like, the category is so big, and it is growing continuously in India. So there is a space for everyone, right? And the thing is, like, कुछ categories हैं जो कि अभी grow हुई हैं, जैसे sneakers ferment that we discussed, it started growing from 2018-19. But the thing is, yes, competition is growing around that. But what the thing is that competition what it does, it gives an validation to the category also.
Yes,
right?
Yeah.
So it gives us validation. जब हमने sneakers start किया था, so it was a new term, that search term बहुत कम था उस समय में, but it grew like multifolded. So it created altogether a separate avenue where like brands are created now around sneakers only. So whenever I don't think like competition is a bad thing. I think there is, if in some category the competition is more intense, that means the category is doing good. So the business is going to be more intense and more lucrative. So we see, I think we should see in that way. Otherwise competition to सारी categories में है ही है.
That's what we study in economics. Like it should be a perfect competition market for you to be able to grow in that particular segment.
So if it is more intense, that means अगर कोई ऐसा product है जिसपे कोई competition ही नहीं है, तो या फिर आपने वो invent किया है, or either you might be wrong क्योंकि वो कोई ले ही नहीं रहा, right? And in a category, if there is competition is more and if it is intense, that means that is sure that many people are looking at it as a lucrative option to grow it, right? So it gives validation to that category कि नहीं ये अभी इस category में दम है.
What do you think about the new brands that are coming up in sneaker market? Is anyone good?
I would say there are few of them who are really doing very well. There is one brand I'll not name. They are genuinely trying to tap around sustainability and selling products at rough 8-10K, 8,000. Not the one that you're thinking. They are at our price point, and they are no more into sustainable products. But there is genuinely a brand which is between 8-10K. I am really impressed with that founder. That's really good brand and has genuinely made noise already abroad and is from India. So then there is few more who's trying to probably get into the market, and they are doing really good. There is particularly one brand who is trying to inculcate India's culture into their brand, which is also good. So I feel there is space for everyone. We are 140 crores. That's the size that we have, and we should really not be worried about competition.
Is that the next frontier for Indian brands? You said that someone among the competition is actually going international. Is that the next frontier that Indian brands will go?
Probably as far as I could see from the founder's lens, is that probably the thought process of that particular brand was to go global only. Always, because India is still very young as per the 8-10K, 8,000, 10,000 kind of a sneaker price point. If it is not Nike or Jordans, it's very tough for you to sell a sneaker for 10,000 in India, being an Indian brand. We are still not there.
So from a pure play R&D standpoint, like in the world, if I talk about shoes at the moment, right, you see a lot of people winning marathons recently with an on. Swiss engineering, as they call it, or probably a lot of people in the trekking space. Like when I went to US, everyone there was wearing a New Balance or an On or a Hoka, right? You think as a country or as a industry, Indian industry will ever be able to innovate at that level where we say that, hey, this is the best in class, or this is the first in class? If not the best in class, this is an innovation. Maybe a cloud tech, maybe a gel technology. I don't know, maybe a soul cushion, which is completely different. Are we there yet, or are we a long way away from it?
So what I would say is there is a basic difference between a brand grown out of an West and brand grown out of an India is in the component of an R&D expenditure. So we start with an validation, we start with an product market fit, right? We see, because when you start from India, the main thing is that the investor, जो mindset investor का भी यही रहता है कि that they do not allocate you in an R&D expenditure, whereas in West में जो brand start होते हैं, they mostly start with an R&D budget. So basically what they do is they do at least 2 to 3 years for an R&D. They find the product, they develop the product, and then they come to the market and then they start selling it. But whereas in case of we growing out of an Indian market, so the thing is that R&D budget that comes to a brand, that comes at a very later stage, right? Where already you have been you have grown, and then now you can find some budget which can get allocated to these R&D sector, where you can develop an indigenous product, indigenous compound, indigenous designs which are very unique and not available anywhere in the world. So that difficulty is always there. The risk taking appetite. So what is the risk capital? I would say the most clear thing is the risk capital. The risk capital that we have and the risk capital that US brand has is totally different. तो वो compare ही नहीं कर सकते. So that is what that our R&D is always on a later stage when the brand has grown, I think, more than 500,000 crores. So they start those things at that stage. In case of an US, the risk capital is at a very early stage. So they start, I think, R&D at a very early stage, and then they launch the product. So that is what I would say. Like,
no, this is a very valid point. This is actually how it is. In India, people really do not want to spend into R&D. And there are two parts into it. One is R&D, another is manufacturing. For manufacturing also, India is not there yet. Though in government has, they have brought BIS into footwear also, that they want BIS certification in the footwear, and all of those are happening. But we are still lacking a lot on infrastructure. When we travel, to the other countries like China, Vietnam, and we see productions over there, at the scale that's happening over there, we're still lacking a lot more from the government side also on the infrastructure boost. We are still a lot more dependent on third countries. So even if we do R&D, let's suppose I did, for example, take an example of On. It is with most of the nations in the world. They are all of them are still dependent a lot on China, Vietnam, and Thailand for manufacturing bit of it. But having said that, we are also not doing R&D as network manager. At least you should have your R&D. Forget manufacturing. You are not there. It's okay. You can still own that patent. You can still own that copyright. Okay, just like Apple does, right? The design in California, made in China. So we are still not thinking from that perspective. The investors are also not willing to invest in the brand who will probably go to them and say that 50% of the funds will go, the deployment will happen into the R&D. They'll feel, okay, what if it doesn't perform? My capital is gone. So that kind of a mindset holistically across all the sectors, including government, investors, and then risk takers, has to be built. And that is how it can happen.
And always India is not as, like, India is still, I would say, India is not such a market where you can innovate and launch a product, right? Suppose, for an example, I'm a NIFT guy. I've completed NIFT recently, and I've done a footwear designing job. Now I want to launch a footwear brand where I have an idea कि मैं कुछ एक नया compound लेके आऊँगा और इस shoes को launch करेंगे, right? Though one thing is, the first thing is that access to capital. पहले तो ये है कि कैपिटल कौन देगा उसको. तो सबसे पहले तो आइदर आई गो टू माय फ्रेंड्स एंड फैमिली फॉर एन एक्सेस टू कैपिटल, और आई गो टू एन इन्वेस्टर. अर्ली स्टेज में कोई नहीं मिलता. द ओनली थिंग इज दैट आई हैव एन एक्सेस टू फ्रेंड्स एंड रिलेटिव्स इन नाइदर बैंक्स, neither government. There is no fund, no incubation who can lend it to me for an idea which I have, where I can design an indigenous shoes, right? And then now I go to friends and family, where you get a budget of, I think, 10 lakhs, 20 lakhs, 5 lakhs, 15 lakhs, 50 lakhs maximum, not more than that, where you can spend in R&D, right? And even if you do an R&D, you have made a successful product, aapne try and test kar liya, you do not have a manufacturing capability who will make such designs in India. Even if you find a manufacturing capability, now you go to the market, you need a marketing thing, jo ki Indian market is not that capable of absorbing it, right? Because you and finding an investor at that stage, that is what I feel. तो वो चीज़ अगर आप वेस्ट में देखो तो the people there innovate an idea, they sustain for 2-3 years, still they have not launched the product, still they can manage to survive. But not, I think it is very difficult in India to survive without revenue for 2-3 years and managing your expenses.
Got it. So this is on the product side, that where you're saying India has a very unique context around product and around innovation. Is it the same when it comes to community building or when it comes to advertising also?
See, things are evolving a lot now. Not just, even on the product front also. Now there are people who are genuinely also backing such founders who tries and bring innovation. So in last couple of years, 3 years, we have seen that overall things are evolving from the creator side of the view. We are into creator-led economy currently right now. So one has to clearly focus on community, because now we are into an era where people have started looking at founders more before than the products. Whom are we going to give our money to? It is about that more than what am I buying now. So people are liking story backed products more. So it has become more creator led. How good you are with your communication when you talk about your products, what is the message that you're conveying, what is the purpose that you're trying to solve. All of these matters a lot these days, versus earlier it was like, okay, this is my product, I'm the best at this price point, buy it. That was all. But now you have to genuinely have a story, and we will want to connect people, we will want to create a community, want to follow them, want to genuinely solve their some problems of their daily life, for them to be your true loyal consumers.
On this community part, Anuj, one small question as a curiosity. It's an academic curiosity, right? And you also talk about it in your Shark Tank episode that you're there as a community. If there are 2 or 3 indicators of how strong a community is for a particular brand, or if they're building a culture or not, what should those measures be or those indicators be? Is it like your Instagram view count or follow count? What exactly are those?
What genuinely people are talking about your product when when they hold the products in the hand, what they genuinely feel, why they bought it. It is not about real people, it is about real people. What real people are talking about your product is genuinely what allows you to understand the brand and the community on the whole. So obviously not the Instagram followers. I won't say Instagram followers or the views is where you will be able to understand how big this brand is or how big this community is. Even if it is a community of 50 people or 500 people for that matter, but those 500 people are genuinely there because you said you want to create culture for generations to come, and they believed that, and they are now with you. That is also a good community for me.
No, but how do you measure the strength of that community? Like if I have
Through
to...
So if a brand announces a community event and you see a complete turnout, that is how you will feel that yes, genuinely people, because you are not promising anything to them that you come, I'll pay, or you come, I'll give you a free sneakers. You are just saying that I'm going to solve this purpose through this event. Please do join us. And they are genuinely turning up. So which means you have earned it. That is the only organic way of...
Has Bakabuki done such an event?
We have recently, so our entire community event altogether is very new. We have recently launched Bakabuki Culture Crew, and with the idea about that particular
Culture Crew, fantastic name.
Yeah, so the Culture Crew, basically the idea behind it is to try and scout the best talents, because India में इतने talents है. We have talents across nooks and corners of the country. So try and scout these people, try and give them a larger stage, try and see how we can promote their skills through us. It's completely nothing to do with what we sell. It is a community for people, for talents, for real people.
What talents?
It can be any talent. You can be a beatboxer, you can be a whacker, you can be a you can be a dancer. Even if you can write Hanuman Chalisa on a single dana of chawal, that is also talent. So any talent from any part of this country, if they are not able to get that platform, is what we are trying to scout and give them a larger platform, and also probably try and sponsor 4-5 such talents every quarter. So that is what Bakabuki community is all about, and that is how we are trying to build this. So we have just done a small event recently in Connaught Place. It was a very small event, but we are yet there. We are yet to announce our bigger, larger events.
Oh! I think people who are watching this, this is the platform you chose for announcement, probably. But thanks for that. I think a fantastic name, Culture Crew. I think a fantastic indicator, like you said, which is how many people organically turn up for a shout out or for an event, or just to cheer others, and a fantastic platform to kind of invite all the talents. And this is where I think a brand becomes bigger than the product.
Right.
When you said that, this is where you're saying any kind of talent unrelated to what you sell, which is shoes or probably some athleisure wear, right? You're saying people can come in, do singing, do dancing, or even do other things, probably even clay modeling, or drawing or writing Hanuman Chalisa, like you're saying, on a morsel of grain or something.
A grain of whatever.
I think that's fantastic. I think really gunning for that, and cheering for you, and then waiting to see this become much larger platform. I think one of the final aspects that I wanted to touch in this conversation was, how do you manage your everyday life? Right? There is so much of work, there's so much of pressure or stress on decision making, on numbers, or even usual interactions with the team, with board. Was there a change in the last 12 years? Did you see as the business grew? That is question number one. Question number 2 is, if there is a change, how are you managing it now?
So I would say the life is more easy now. so when we started back, तो उस समय तो like it was like in like it used to be months, like we haven't seen the evening. in जब ऑफिस से बाहर निकलते थे तो रात हो जाती थी, तो घर पहुंच के फिर वापस सुबह आते थे, वापस मतलब दोपहर और शाम मतलब देखा, मतलब it used to be months. And there was some phase when we used to work 7 days a week, right? So we worked with 7 days a week, but now I think the business is more process driven. So back then it was like more towards people driven business, because we had a very lean team. So now it is like more process driven. So I would say the things are more easy. So when you have seen such a such a tough life, I think 5, 6, 6, 7 years back, and the life that we are now, I would say now it is more easy. The targets are big, but the life is like little sorted, I would say.
So but more money makes.
But the great thing about this is that when you are ground up, you become a person who can adjust in any set of environment, or for that matter, we can work from anywhere, and we can be in any environment. I mean, because we were never used to fancy offices. We were never used to having a housekeeping staff serving us CCD coffee or something else. So it's like Natwa mentioned, genuinely I remember there was a patch of 5 months where we had no Sundays. Genuinely no Sundays. Like if 5 into 1, if I have to just make it 152 days on trot, we are coming to office without a break. So that was also phase. I mean, there were so many such phases, like sometimes for 3 months, sometimes for 5 months, and there was no hours. There was no working hours. Like right from 9:30 in the morning till 11, 12, 1, sometimes 2:30, 3 a.m. also.
Was it about managing the sale? What was this period for 150 days you're coming to office? Was there any specific crisis you're handling?
No. It was just that we were more aggressive towards growth, you can say. We were just trying to add some few extra hours so that we can focus on more other things also. But yes, having said that, also because we had lean team, a lot of things we used to do ourselves also. So there were times that when we used to also pack our orders. A lot more months we have genuinely packed all our Flipkart and Amazon orders ourselves, because we used to get a lot more orders than we anticipated, because back then there were also websites like Naptol, Home Shop, in India, Time Shopping. All of these were very unpredictable websites. A day they are at normal orders, and all of a sudden there is some offers and they were like 10x. Now you can't have a 10x kind of a infrastructure all of for this unpredictable days. So for those 10x days you had to perform at 10x capacity, so with the same team. So overall e-commerce was very unstructured, not just us, because India, when we started, there was no Amazon in India. Myntra was a startup of Mukesh Bansal. Flipkart had just shifted from selling only books to becoming a marketplace. So there was SLA of 14-15 days. Now we get our products delivered in 8 minutes through quick commerce. So that has been the journey that we have seen in last.
You're available on quick commerce? I didn't know that. Really?
We are there on Zepto. Yeah.
Wow. How is that going?
It's doing good. We recently started like a quarter back. We are currently completely sold out, and now we are sending our replenishments also. So it has worked really great for us.
Fantastic. I think there is also something when you're saying you're ground up. One of the things that our team, it came out in our research that you're working out of your own warehouse for a long time.
Yes.
For how many years were you doing that?
No warehouse. The flat that we used to stay.
Achha, that's where you used to pack and used to send and all.
So that is where Natwa started. So that is where Natwa started, and so initial few months, almost a year, that is where all the stuff used to be. We had 2 rooms. One was his and one other was mine. And there is where we used to keep all our inventories also. So there were literally no space to move around the house. If we had to go to kitchen or maybe the washroom, we had to genuinely remove all the shoes first. So so that is how it all began. Versus now we have close to 45,000 square feet warehouse in India, in Delhi, and 19 others across India.
19 other warehouse
through
sector.
3PLs and
Oh,
through Amazon,
fantastic.
FBA.
No, I think that's a great story of a hero. In that sense, your rise is very, very inspiring. Uh, I hope there is a Bakabuki 3.0 which is successful, and Bakabuki 4.0, and also like you said 5.0, fifth innings, third innings, fourth innings, and fifth innings. Probably you grow and grow and grow bigger. And if you're now at 100 crore run rate, soon I wish this is a 1,000 crore run rate company, and probably more. You make in India, you sell it to the world. That this crew, culture crew, becomes bigger and bigger, and Bakabuki's name spreads far and wide to the entire world.
Thanks a lot, Balaji.
Thanks a
That
lot.
really means a lot.
Thanks a lot, Anuj and Natur, and all the best for
Thank you
upcoming
so much.
adventures.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you for having us here.